I was born on a Friday afternoon, January 31st, 2003. My mother often tells me that day was filled with both excitement and disbelief. She said my father's eyes were wide with joy, almost as if the world had paused just to celebrate my arrival. He wanted to name me Sun, because for him, I was a tiny sunbeam entering their lives, full of light and potential. He held me briefly, whispered promises no child could understand, and then he disappeared. I never saw him again after that first moment. My mother told me he left on a business trip, though at the time I didn't understand what that really meant. In my small mind, I imagined him in distant, fancy offices, making decisions that shaped the world while I sat quietly in my crib. I longed for him to smile at me again, to hold me, even for a second. I wondered why someone could love a child so fiercely and then vanish without explanation. Despite this absence, my mother became the center of my universe. She didn't try to explain everything at once. She gave me small comforts instead. "Go watch your favorite cartoon," she said, placing a snack beside me, as if the world would wait for my understanding. In those moments, I realized something quietly important. She was my protector, my anchor, and my first true companion. My father's absence was a shadow, but my mother's presence was light enough to hold me steady. From this first day, I began to carry both longing and curiosity. I wanted to understand the world he had left me to navigate, and I wanted to find a way to meet life on my own terms. I didn't know it then, but the choices of that day, the absence, the presence, the quiet lessons of patience would shape everything I became. After that first moment of light, he was gone. My father, the man who had whispered my name with such pride, vanished into some distant world that my 5-year-old mind could not grasp. My mother told me he had gone on a business trip. At the time, I imagined him in grand offices, moving between skyscrapers, speaking with important people, wearing suits that smelled faintly of leather and success. I thought he must be a great businessman, someone whose life was far too busy to notice the small things, like his newborn son. But even as I imagined him, my heart felt heavy with questions. Why hadn't he come back? Why did he not even peek in to see me grow? My mother would smile gently and hand me a snack or point to the television. "Go watch your favorite cartoon," she'd say, her voice soft but firm. And so I would, sitting on the carpet with eggsy-shaped cushions and cereal scattered on the floor, dreaming of a father who was a ghost in my life. It was confusing. I didn't understand absence, not really. I only knew that I missed something I had never truly known. The world continued, bright and noisy, but a piece of it, the part that could have been my father, was empty. I learned early that some questions have no answers, and yet, even as I played and laughed, the curiosity lingered. A shadow beside every sunny moment, my mother became my entire world. She was strict, yes, but her rules were threaded with love. Every morning she woke before dawn, preparing breakfast, packing my little bag, reminding me to comb my hair, brush my teeth, tie my shoelaces properly. She had a calm authority, the kind that could make even the smallest tasks feel important. I understood even as a child that she was preparing me for a life that might not give me handholds as easily as other kids might have. At 5 years old, she sent me to school. My tiny feet padded along the cobblestone streets, backpack bouncing against my back. The world seemed enormous and slightly intimidating. But she didn't walk me all the way there. She didn't hover. She trusted me to step into that space alone, just as she trusted me to survive the absence of a father. That trust felt heavy, but it also made me feel capable, like I was being trained for something beyond ordinary childhood. Through her, I learned that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it sits silently beside you, holding you steady while the rest of the world spins. The first day of school was surreal. The other kids seemed enormous compared to me, towering little figures with big backpacks and confident voices. I remember staring at them, trying to mimic their steps, their tone, their casual ease with the world I had yet to understand. I asked my teacher, fumbling over words, "Why do they look so big?" She looked at me with a patient smile and said something I've never forgotten. "Those who are chosen to do more must start early. It will take time, but you will catch up." Her words swirled in my head for years. I didn't know what they meant then, not really. But even as I played quietly on the kindergarten mats or struggled to ask questions, I felt a strange certainty. I was being prepared for something. I wasn't like the other kids. I wasn't ordinary. Kindergarten was a sanctuary. There were naps, free play, snacks, and cartoons. I could run wildly, laugh without consequence, or curl up quietly on a mat while the others tumbled around me. Those were the happiest days, days without worry, without pressure, without the looming absence of a father. And yet, even in that carefree bubble, the question of him never left me. Where was he? Why did he leave?
The world of childhood is strange. It is simple and infinite all at once. I remember the scent of crayons on paper, the sun spilling into our tiny courtyard, the sound of cartoon characters shouting and laughing. I remember the first time I ran home after school just to catch the latest episode of my favorite cartoon, my small legs barely keeping pace with my excitement. I had a mother who worked tirelessly, yet somehow she always returned home with ice cream or a surprise snack. Life felt abundant in small joys. The world was mine to explore, with Eggsy by my side, barking at shadows and demanding attention, reminding me of the pure, immediate love only animals can give. But even as I lived these carefree moments, a quiet tension threaded through them. The absence of my father was a silent drumbeat beneath the laughter, a shadow that hinted at something incomplete. And even though I enjoyed my friends, my cartoons, my small adventures, I always felt the edge of longing, an invisible line connecting me to a man I barely knew. Parent-teacher meetings were moments of confrontation, of truth, even at a young age. I remember sitting beside my mother, clutching the straps of my bag, while my teacher turned the pages of my report card. Everything looked normal, grades, effort, behavior. But then my teacher paused, her eyes flicking to my mother. "Miss, something seems unusual with him," she said cautiously. My mother stiffened slightly but didn't speak. She never revealed the truth of my father. Instead, she brushed it off, redirecting the conversation as if the question itself were dangerous. I felt a tightness in my chest, a tiny spark of anger and hurt. My mother drove me home without comment, and when I asked if I was hurt, she simply said nothing. I remember sitting on my bed that evening, tears threatening, but not falling. I didn't want my friends to see weakness. I didn't want the world to know that a child could feel abandoned, that absence could sting so sharply. And yet, in that silence, I vowed that one day I would show the world my worth, even if he never saw it. The absence of my father became a fire inside me. I hated him, not for what he did, but for what he left behind. Questions, emptiness, a challenge. I decided even then that I would surpass him. I would work harder, think faster, achieve more. I would prove not to him but to myself, that leaving me was a mistake. From that moment, I became relentless. I studied for hours, attended extra classes, and pushed my limits further than any child should. Friends would call out to me, teasing, "Where's Son today?" But I didn't answer. My world had shrunk to pages, notes, and exercises. I was building something. Though I didn't know yet what it would become, I knew I could not waste another second. My mother is Korean, my father is Chinese. They met in an MBA program. My mother often told me stories of him, his intelligence, his ambition, his brilliance. He was top of his class, a perfect student in every way. She admired him deeply, but that admiration never crossed into forgiveness for leaving us behind. I internalized these stories. I wanted to be brilliant, yes, but not to emulate a man who abandoned his family. I wanted to prove that strength, intelligence, and perseverance could exist without selfishness. My mother's unwavering love, combined with the memory of my father's absence, became the framework of my ambition.
By 7th grade, life shifted in subtle ways. I met Tae-hyun, a boy who played guitar like the world spoke through his fingers. I was fascinated. Music became a bridge, something I could grasp beyond textbooks and exams. I asked my mother if I could take lessons, and, against all odds, she agreed. She believed in balance, in the possibility that I could pursue joy alongside ambition. The first guitar was awkward, strings cutting my fingers, my small hands fumbling over chords. But Tae-hyun guided me patiently. We exchanged lessons. He showed me music. I shared what I knew from my studies. For the first time, I felt a friendship rooted in mutual respect, challenge, and growth. This wasn't just companionship, it was inspiration, and it changed something fundamental in me. The school music festival was our proving ground. Tae-hyun and I decided to perform together. The rehearsal room smelled faintly of polish and wood, the strings of the guitar shining under fluorescent lights. I was nervous, my fingers trembling, my heart beating a rapid rhythm in sync with the chord I was about to play. The day of the festival, standing backstage, I felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The stage was small, the audience large, but in that moment, I was no longer just Son, the abandoned child, the diligent student. I was Son, the golden sun star, a boy who could reach out and touch the world with music. The first chord rang out, raw and tentative, but full of life, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly seen. At the music festival, I never made it. I couldn't, because life had its cruel instant moments. At 1 a.m., I got a call from Tae-hyun's parents. He had been injured in a bike accident. My heart froze. He was careful, tall enough to control his bike. Everything should have been fine. Yet the footage showed a drunk driver hit him from behind. I wasn't there with him. I wished I could have been, at least to try to save him. I couldn't watch him lying in the hospital bed. I couldn't even recognize him. My tears fell for the second, or maybe the third time in my life. I had never cried that much before. Tae-hyun, my sworn brother, had always been kind, always thought of me. He had dreams of us doing something different after graduation. I blamed myself. I shouldn't have formed a bond, I thought. I should have kept him away from my cursed luck. For months, I couldn't sleep. He used to visit just to talk about life, to remind me to take breaks, to care for myself before caring for others. Even in his final days, he thought of me. I buried my guitar near his place, promising I would only play again when I found someone special, someone like my mother, someone with love, care, and unwavering guidance. I lost my father and my sworn brother in the same month. My mother's health deteriorated. She was diagnosed with a serious condition. She faced early retirement due to her brain health, but told me, "Son, don't worry, everything will be fine." I vowed never to worship any god again. If my mother could do everything for me despite her failing health, why should I bow to anyone else?
I made a quote then. If you can't give more than you have no right to take or touch what I possess. I hate you because you are jealous. You know I can change everything. I hated God. I swore to achieve everything I dreamed, to never let anyone else dictate my life. I promised myself never to make friends again. I passed my 10th standard with a historic record, 100% in every subject, same for 12th. My name, Kim Sun-seong, became known. I enrolled in Bachelor of Science Mathematics with physics and chemistry, not because it was necessary, but to challenge myself, to prove what I could do. I took part-time jobs in Korea, accepted with a smile, knowing how important every rupee was for my mother. After a year, I realized it was time to pursue BBA and MBA. My mother was overjoyed. During a college trip to understand Asian business models, I visited China, my father's home. There I saw someone extraordinary. I couldn't look directly at her. She radiated calmness and beauty. I remembered my mother's words. Son, respect beauty because God spends days to create it. I wanted someone like my mother, strong, caring, loving. I gathered courage and asked her to be my friend. She agreed, and for the first time in years, I felt alive. We played games like PUBG, yet I never let our connection distract me from academics or part-time work. I respected boundaries, completing my friend's dream without losing myself. Even years later, in 2024, she gently told me she had feelings for someone else. It wasn't a surprise. I had grown used to people leaving, but I smiled, laughed, and wished her well. My mother and Tae-hyun had taught me love is not possession, care is protection. I applied for a scholarship, Zurich, Switzerland, UNL University MBA program, a prestigious opportunity. I met jeijei again online. She accepted my friendship invitation. For the first time, I did something purely for myself. I felt joy, excitement, and nervousness all at once. Zurich was extraordinary. People were genuinely kind. Professors and students felt like family. Yet I never wanted betrayal again. I worked with banks, cleaned and organized accounts, became a data manager. My 19-hour days felt worth it because every earning went to support hospital patients, including my mother. I worked tirelessly, awake at 5 a.m., studying, calculating, coding, learning, yet saving 1 hour for PUBG, a mental sanctuary to keep myself sane. This balance kept me focused, sharp, and motivated to continue fulfilling my promises. Through PUBG, I met someone special, Noor jeijei. I was scared she might leave or get hurt because of me, but I invited her to friendship, patiently waiting, preparing accounts, balancing my responsibilities. When she accepted, it was magical. She was thoughtful, caring, even playful like my mother. Our friendship was deep, protective, and respectful. I loved her presence. I never crossed limits, never demanded more than friendship. Yet every interaction, every conversation made me feel alive again. I cherished her like family, like a light after long darkness. After a week, I realized I was falling in love. I wanted to tell her, but I feared losing her. I shared the truth. I had no previous girlfriend because I feared loss. She accepted my honesty, remained my friend, and brought joy and warmth I hadn't felt since childhood. I cherished every moment, every game, every interaction. I respected her boundaries, never forcing my feelings, yet always being protective, caring, and present. For the first time, I felt love as joy, not pain. I reflected on my father, Tae-hyun, and mother. My father lost his way, never returned. Tae-hyun was gone. My mother's Alzheimer took her gradually. I had only myself to continue their legacies. I placed my mother, father, and Tae-hyun together in a sacred place, honoring them forever. I realized love, sacrifice, and loyalty define family, not mere presence. I held their memories close, promising never to forget, to protect, and to honor them through every action. My mother finally slept peacefully, like all the other patients I had seen. I gave her favorite red stone, honoring her love for red. She completed the roles of both parents and Tae-hyun for me. Now, only I remained, I said goodbye, carrying all their memories and love into my life. I whispered my devotion to them, promising eternal remembrance and respect, turning grief into determination and devotion. I expressed to Moon jeijei my devotion, my love, and my fears. I wanted her to trust me, to accept my guidance, friendship, and protection. I asked her to be my friend for life, mirroring the care and love I had for my mother and Taehyun. I promised unwavering presence, protection, and support, even across lifetimes. This love was patient, respectful, and eternal, a safe harbor in the chaotic world I had survived. I never said to her that, or I think I've said, that you are my last try of this life. After you, I will not, trusting anyone else. Moonjae, you are very good and different from every single female out there. You know why? Because you can order me or shut me up. You really do own me for this life. Never say goodbye forever. You know we call Kaylin to destined sister, to whom we fall in love with. Because at that time your God or every religion in society looks small, because they feel like his or her love is even bigger than them, because it's coming deep inside from heart. You know, when I have to leave unexpectedly to Korea to see my mother, hell, I was very scared and broken down because my mother is leaving. If you will too, then I might die. Even in the hospital, after making my mother sleep, I just want to see you. I sometimes messages you, even if they are not that good enough, but it's like a half and unfinished longing, just the way you cry and feel emotional when you are far apart from your parents or family members. Jeju, I feel the same. I know now you have someone to date and spend your precious time, so I might shine less. I think it's just an eclipse for me. I don't know if it's never ending or just an event.
Before parting, I wrote for her, "See you soon when there is a full moon. You are my everything, my soul. With you, life feels like art. Your thoughts, your words, they shoot on my heart. Your voice must be sweet, your feet beautiful, like heaven in my art. I must be scared of losing you, but I can protect you, even if I have to sacrifice my heart. I just love you like heaven and earth. If I were your moon and you my sun, I would love to die close to your heart. Every word, every feeling was my devotion, my promise, my heart poured into this farewell, knowing it might be a while until we met again. Because I said you, that I was literally born to disturb you, and forever and ever I want to disturb you and love you like this. Not even in this life, but in next 6 life. And please don't worry this. I know to whom I give my priority, because I only have you. You know that my father was good. Now you know he was just unlucky. He literally wanted to start his own business, but never ever get a financial support, even from banks. I was innocent. What happened if literally lied to me, or even my mother? If they haven't, then you wouldn't be chatting with me right now. The same goes to my best friend, my Taehyun bro. He was just unlucky. It's all because of me, jeijei. Every single one of them, who usually gets close to me, suffer more than ever before. But you don't worry this time. I know it's my time, because I will save you, even it's cost my life. Look, Xuan is fine, because she is not loving me. You will be too. Please don't love me. Let me love you forever and ever. I love waiting. You know why? Because I want to meet you soon, but I want to make a distance. What if you get hurt because of me? Something happens to you. I'll die. This is my story, the real one. And Kylan jeijei, I can say this to you. I think Sue, can you talk to me? Just the way we users to do. Please, please. I just want to see you, as you literally the same. I meet on 22nd August. Miss, I swear I will never cross my limits. You know how I found out this? Because your brother told me that you get punished or literally get scolded by your parents for playing PUBG with me. Sorry, I haven't said this to you earlier because I don't want you to scold your brother. I'm sorry, but I never felt much because I know that's my value. But I was like soulful, you know, even any of the above is true. Then after knowing all this, you sometimes chat with me. I know that's not enough to be fall in love, You think it's stupid because I haven't seen you. I even don't know who you are. Literally, I don't care because you are my jeijei. Even if you do the same, I will not be angry at all because I will never leave you. I want to say to my mother that I found someone special like you, but she haven't reacted on this. I think she might be very happy when she listened this. The incomplete art, you, once a stranger, distant and unnamed, yet your voice carved through the silence, calling me closer like a ripple touching the shore that never waits. Each time you spoke my name, I slid open my heart quietly, a sacrifice no one asked for, but I gave it anyway. You were never a person, more like an event, a fleeting miracle wrapped in noise and light, gone before I could catch its warmth. I wish this phenomenon would bloom again in every piece I create. That spark, that ache, that trembling truth that art can never cage. They all drifted by, the people, the moments, the half-meant words, like planets keeping their distance, while the moon alone watches me break in silent orbit. My life, an unfinished canvas, colors fading mid-stroke, and I, the painter with trembling hands, holding the brush, but not the strength to finish what I began.